Yes. Yesterday, one guy was asking me, what the problem with you? You always talk of the real self, pure consciousness. I said, you have yet to realize that you are the pure consciousness. You have intellectually understood it, but the realization is taking the time. That is the first answer. And the second answer is that what I should talk about it. There is nothing more than the consciousness. We all are pure consciousness of the nature of peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. So I have nothing to talk about it. So I have to help you, support you by these principles that how you are real self. You see a subtle level of ignorance. Where is the real self? It is in the body. Very good. Intellectually, we have understood. Now, take another similar example. I am within the house. Clear? Yes. So when I am inside the house, I know 100% that I am separate from the house. Do I know 100% that I am different and separate from the body? You see, that is the problem. So, do you understand that? That is why the satsang is very important that I discussed in the last session. Company with the truth, company with the real self, company with that understanding. I am no, yes, real self is within me. Yes, I agree with you. Even though it is not within me, it is all pervading. It is not within the body. But when I make a statement, then I should honor it. I am within the body means I am different from the body mind complex. I'm separate from the body mind complex. How many of us really uh, become aware of that fact? And that is the problem. So the moment I say, oh, real self is within me, okay, I'm within the house, I'm inside the bedroom, I'm in the restroom, so restroom is definitely separate from me. That so what happens in satsang? We, the teacher, through the knowledge already passed on by the masters, bring clarity. So every time we become aware of one level, second level, third level, and then we realize, yes, yes. Terry was just saying 2 days before it was done. Now today I'm normal. Can I instantly become aware it was the bad morning or a good morning? Morning has nothing to do with the particular day of the month or the time or the place. You see, our mind is blocked to think in this way. And that blockage is impurity. Impurity is dissolves by the satsang. We struggle. We start struggling with the self doubt and limiting belief. We have our limiting belief and we struggle with it. And that is causing the problem. And we get sidetracked by 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 worldly distractions and desires. So now see the importance of Mangala Charan. Every day you wake up in the morning, Om Sahana Vavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karva Vahi. तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै. So that false I says, I am ready to protect myself. We are saying, let the existence protect both of us. We are losing the identification with the body and the mind. You see, may we enjoy nourishment. Nourishment, teacher should teach with the energy. And so the student should also receive with the same energy. So here it is, energy means the level of your awareness and attention. Your mind is not distracted to any identification. And that comes by listening and learning, contemplation and reflection. And the last one, ma vidvisha vahi. Let there be no envy, jealousy, hatred against each other. You had a fight with your honey yesterday, now you are saying it today. Just check it. Ma vidvisha vahi. So your intellect starts contemplating and reflecting what is the why I should go for it. Why should I go? So Mangalacharan is not important in the journey of the self-discovery, but it can be applied in the life. You just see the practical, pragmatic approach. Uh, Mind then says, okay, leave that fight, leave that differences. I have nothing to do with the differences. So you are breaking that limiting notions. After today's session, we'll directly go to studying the text. I have laid the foundation. So in that foundation, what we learned, 360-degree understanding. All days are the same. Why today is a bad morning? Even though sun rose same way, time is the same. So what exactly happened to me? See. So because not many people become aware of this fact, how the mind is creating the limiting belief. And that is why we say the purity of the mind. That is one way. Other ways say that, no, okay, did you have any desire yesterday that was not fulfilled and today you wake up in the morning, so you had a bad morning? Oh, yes. Okay, so understand what is desire fulfillment and what is self fulfillment. Can there be desire fulfillment? Do you remember the equation? Oh, yes. Okay, now I understand. So when you are contemplating and reflecting in this way, that mood upset is going to change. If it doesn't change, you need more practice. 360-degree understanding, that is what I say. So, what is very important? I picked up another principle that I have to strike harmony in the external world. I'm not a monk, I am not doing a practice of mindfulness in the Himalayas where I don't have any interaction with anyone, any human being. I have some, just I take 2 meals a day and contemplate and reflect. That is also one way. But I'm living in the world. So I consciously create a harmony outside at my personal, professional, social level with even the pleasures and the pain. Let me strike a harmony. How to do that? Striking the harmony can be easily achieved by what I think, how I speak, and how I act in my life. So once I strike the harmony, Obviously, I am ready. Now my mind is not at all attracted, carried away by the limiting notions and the belief every day. And that mind experiences the sense of the freedom and it is ready to find the real self. You see, that is what we covered. So gradually we will move into that. Okay, then if I'm consciousness, then what is this waking state, dream state, sleep state? What are the different five layers of experiences I have? So you see, now I'm turning a different expression to the Panchakosha. We say the five sheet. It is just a five layers of our experiences with a limited belief. Why limited belief? Because these five layers belongs to the matter. What are these five layers? Just for brief. Outermost layer is the physical layer. Body, physical body. What are the two important limiting beliefs? Birth and the death. I was born and that day and I'm going to die. So when I think that I'm going to die, my mind is obsessed with the physical body. You know, these are five layers of experiences, nothing more than that. Five sheets. What is the second layer? Second layer, we say pranamaya, kosha, the energy, body. Oh, I have less energy, hunger, and the thirst. The master points out these two factors, two, hunger and thirst. Experience of the hunger and thirst put me with a limiting belief and conditioning to the energy. I don't want to listen to you. Let me have first some food, then I'm relaxed, and then I will talk to you. Third layer of experience is the mind. So what mind experiences? Pain and the pleasure. Opposite. Pain and the pleasure. And you can expand it. Any form of the pain. Today is a bad morning, and tomorrow will be the good. These are experiences. So masters explore that these experiences takes place at these different levels of our consciousness, physical consciousness, energy consciousness, mental consciousness, and then we have intellect consciousness. So what we feel, what experiences, likes and dislikes, strong likes and dislikes, then my intellect is crazy. Normal likes and dislikes, it's okay. It's okay. What about the fifth layer? Fifth layer, we say Priya, Mode, and Pramod. This mind through the intellect by the help of the sense organs, energy, and the physical body still believes that there is a pleasure, there is a happiness in the external world because of the ignorance. So we say the pleasure in anything in the world outside is caused by the ignorance. So the fifth layer is made up of the ignorance. That is why we have an American phrase. Do you remember? Ignorance is bliss. We say ignorance is suffering. It's a very famous ignorance is bliss. No, ignorance cannot be bliss. I'm ignoring a silent disease that is manifesting in the body. It is not a bliss. Come on. I can give you hundreds of examples like this. Do you see? So we will go deeper and then then we group together five layers of experiences. Then we say, let us understand in a different way. Three bodies, the physical body, the subtle body, and the causal body. We'll understand that gradually. And okay, Then let us understand. Now you see that from 5 to the 3 we have come. Now from the 3 we come to the 5 elements, matter. And then we see the physical matter, we see the subtle level of the matter, we see the causal level of the matter, so that we are 100% clear that all these experiences creating a limited belief, causing the ignorance, and ultimately it results into suffering. So I have to get rid of the suffering. It demands a clarity and understanding in order to reach to that state that I am the huh? Pure consciousness of the nature of permanent peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. Now, we also discussed that how to start that journey. Mangalacharya. Any, even you have any statement which is pointing to the real self or the pure consciousness will do. Let there be peace and happiness for all. There is no suffering in the world. Suffering is caused by the identification with the matter. So gradually, as we advance into the higher level of a seeker, my mind instantly recognizes that. And when it recognizes, what happens? Your mind picks up the layer of that ignorance. You get rid of it. And ultimately, you rise again into the same consciousness. So not by Mangalacharya, it is the first step. And then we start going deeper. That mind is constantly distracted because of the ignorance, because of the illusion, because of the limited nature of the thought, speech, and action. So let us fix this. How to fix this? By 4 connections. In the mind, through the intellect, I remember what is, am I a qualified seeker? And instantly challenge your pain and problems and suffering. No, I experience the pain. Very good. So let me challenge it. Where is the pain? Do I experience the pain or it is because of the identification? So, but in the 4 connections, our goal is that I should recognize whether I am capable to treat this path or not. A majority of the people, they claim that they have understood and they are still suffering, believe it. So Mangalacharya has to be, no, the second one, 4 connections. You see 4 connections? Am I a qualified seeker? Ask yourself every day. Then what is the subject matter? Subject matter is the real self. Real self is all pervading. Real self is subtler than the subtlest. It cannot be perceived by the sense organs and the motor organs. Okay, what should I do? Then I have to close my eyes and move the mind with it. And what will be the result? Result will be the end of suffering and awakening to my own nature. Now see, okay, so now I have done this. So sadhan chatushtaya, the 4 fold practices. Out of these 4 fold practices, huh, we have been understanding clearly. The first one is the discernment. As you progress into the discernment, you reach to a state of dispassion. A very smaller dispassion. It's a bad morning, good morning. I don't know why you are thinking like this. There is nothing about good and bad mind. It has to do with your mind. So you look inside and you say yes. A very surface level of discernment. So, but at the same time, you have a dispassion. You are repeating a couple of times. The time comes, then mind says, don't say today is a bad morning or yesterday was a good morning. Nothing like this. It does not exist. So you see what happens? at a higher level of dispassion. We will talk about it and we will reach there. At a higher level of dispassion, you recognize through the discernment that suffering exists because of identification with the matter. And when that identification is broken, okay, that suffering dissolves and disappears completely. So, practices, fourfold practices, but it is a bit challenging to us. I have understood it intellectually. I have, I'm very clear. But the moment I start living in this transactional world outside, my old habit returns. No, no, I don't have envy against anyone. Now you start talking to anyone with whom you were jealous yesterday. Your face expression, your physical, mental, emotional changes takes place. So what should I do? Look at this. That's very subtle. So there we will understand what exactly is the karma yoga. Karma yoga. Karma means action. Action means attitude. So act in yoga. So here yoga means attitude, equanimity of the mind. So I start thinking, speaking, and acting in the world with the equanimity. What is that equanimity in a simple word? Very simple word. That before the action, during the action, after the action, mind is able to maintain the equanimity or calmness. Any action. Before, calmness. During that action is calmness. After that action is calmness. Do you consciously sleep with a state of calmness? No. My mind is already distracted and disturbed. And then I have dreams. Then I have hangovers in the morning. One example, many examples. Then there is another problem that comes on the way is our emotional nature. We all have certain emotions, certain degree of emotions. So that emotional nature is always in relationship to the world, whether it is person or a house or a cloth or a feeling, relationship. Can I redirect this emotion towards the existence? Do I have a love for the existence instead of love for the world outside, which is constantly changing? So that after karma yoga, we move towards that. So these steps are for mental transformation, emotional transformation. Why? So that nothing of that ignorance is left in the mind. So no ignorance is left. That real self will manifest easily. That is why the satsang. So every time you listen some new principles, some something new, and ultimately you digest by contemplation and reflection, by the practice, and the time comes when the mind is leaning towards the real self, 90%, and 10% for the transactional world. At present, it is 90% for the transactional world and 10% for the 10% for the real self. You can make it clear. You can definitely make it clear in your daily life. How many times you remember, recalled, and became aware of the real self at the time of the stress, anxiety, duality, and a conflict? Yes, if it is you are becoming aware of that throughout the day, you feel that state of the calmness. But then there are past impressions. They return with a greater force. They return with a greater force, and that is why this systematic approach has to be followed in reaching to that state of realization. So, master approaches the entire journey totally in a different way. Forget about the impurity, forget about the stress, forget about the anxiety and duality. It says the causes of all these challenges is what is there are four factors. It says praman, asambhavana. You know, I will just talk. Normally, we get engaged into our anxiety, duality, conflict, pain, pressure in the society, personal, professional, social life. This is one way of looking at yourself. The other way of looking at yourself, the master says, "Oh, now I have. Are you ready to understand?" Your mind has a doubt regarding the validity of the teaching. So mind moves on the other side, not having a complete understanding. And that is why we need to attend the satsang regularly without fail. Not having a complete understanding. And second problem, doubt regarding the object to be realized. Now you see, I have a pain, so I have a doubt regarding the object to be realized. So my intellect says the real self cannot have a pain. How the real self cannot be attached. It is all pervading, one source. But do I have a clarity of understanding? Yes, I have it clarity. So where is the pain? Pain is in the body. Why you are saying that I have the pain? So this type of reasoning helps you to remove the doubt regarding the object. Object means here real self to be realized. Real self to be realized. So two problems, Now we are talking about purely the problems of the mind. Because of these challenges, already we have in the mind since our birth. That is why we have a suffering. So you move to the higher level of a seeking because now you try to resolve what is the doubt regarding the validity of the teaching in my mind. The teacher is there, books are there, teaching is there. Second is the doubt regarding the object to be realized. So when you have these two doubts, mind jumps to something outside in order to seek the pleasure. In order to seek the pleasure, can you connect to the fifth layer of your experience, the causal body? Oh, then what happens? The mind is already outside seeking the pleasure in the world of people, objects, events, and things. That mind is known as distracted mind. We have a different definition of distraction. It is known as a projection. It is known as the imagined pleasure or happiness. When I'm seeking an projected happiness outside in an object. So the mind does both. Mind lives in ignorance. Real self is not of the nature of peace and happiness. So now the mind lives in ignorance. It starts running outside. It looks at an object in ignorance. Second part of the ignorance is projection. That projection is known as the distraction. Once we understand that clearly, so that is the third problem in the mind. So it means the focus, we have to gain the focus of the mind. How? Karma yoga. and the emotional dependence we have to leave from the world. And then what happens? Then the mind starts realizing, it starts settling into the state of the calmness days after days, weeks after weeks. It goes into different situation, events in the life outside, and still it remains in the state of the calmness. Then only fourth problem in the mind is left is the ignorance. So we understand what is ignorance. Ignorance is the misunderstanding, misconception, misconception about myself. Who am I? Misconception, wrong understanding about what exactly is this nature of the world and what is the nature of the existence. So that satsang goes at the higher level. That is what we are going to start from our next session. So I'm just revising and helping you understand totally in a different way. So you might have heard different statements in the teachings. Some teachers says that fix your mind on the image of the God inside. I have to pick up what exactly it is. So first it is that it is a redirection of the mind. Mind is scattered outside. It has to be gathered inside. So we imagine with an image of any symbol like triangle that we are doing it. We are building that natural focus. So that teaching is also right. I have to understand that why those teachings are right. Because if I require, I can use it. I can use it. Practice becomes firmly grounded. Practice becomes, or experience, change in experience becomes firmly grounded when you attend, when satsang continues with a commitment. Patanjali Yoga Sutra says in this way. So it is the same principles they are talking about. Abhyas vairagya bhyam tannirodha. So some people will say that, go for a retreat, forget about the world. We don't forget about the world. We strike a harmony. So that harmony means that now, that harmony means Patanjali says in a different way. Patanjali says continue to practice, strike the harmony outside in the world. While practicing, that means that I practice with the dispassion of the world. You see that? So all these principles go together. So once we understand their different expressions, so why I'm talking about these? So I'm going to talk about giving many references from the Upanishads, from the Yoga Sutras, from Puranas. There are 5 different types of the text. So they have approached the subject matter differently. Why? To remove the 4 challenges our mind. We are removing the ignorance. We are removing the impurities. What is left is the purity. What is left is the peace, happiness, love, truth, and grace. Satsang. Now, did you ever think about it in these sessions? What exactly is the relationship satsang and the Mangalacharan? Think of it. Satsang and the Mangalacharan. So if you satsang and the Mangalacharan, satsang helps us to rise in awareness, and the Mangalacharan gives us the tool to change the mind. So every day when you wake up in the morning and before going to sleep, pick up any mantra. It has nothing to do with the cult dogma belief. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. You just sit down, allow the mind to live into that statement, that knowledge. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. May there be happiness. You see that? So the impact of the satsang, our communication in a session, goes beyond the session. You remind yourself. That is important. If we don't remind ourselves, then it will take a long time. Satsang. And now, satsang helps our free will. I'm using a different word. In one of the texts, it is there. So by attending the satsang helps our free will to choose our life and events with responsibility. We are not getting carried away by any emotion, feeling, anxiety, duality, pain, and confusion. That is why I normally say I lived with my master for 26 years. It is because of this. Every time you listen from a different perspective, you get a clarity. Your mind strikes. Oh, mind says, okay, now I will follow this approach. Satsang and the Mangalacharya. Satsang and now let us see the satsang and four connections. Every time the mind reminds you of four connections. Mind reminds you of Anubandha Chatushtaya. Am I qualified? Oh no, I got upset today, so that qualification has gone down. Why I got upset? Because of the world outside. Can I contemplate and reflect? So I discern, contemplate, and reflect, and again I lift my awareness. So I lift my awareness means what? Through the intellect. Intellect means the free will. I lift my awareness from the mind which is causing the intellect. That will take us to live in a from moment to moment. No, no, live mindfully. It does not make a sense. Live mindfully, intellectually, we sat and we smile. No, I have to dig deep inside what it means. Hmm? So that is, so see the satsang and the four connections. So that is satsang. Second connection is the subject matter. I cannot see the real self in the world outside, but still I can see the real self in the world outside. I have to solve this puzzle. Seeing the waves inside my head, I know it is water. So I see both of them simultaneously. But when I'm totally caught up in the waves, I don't recognize the water in the waves, then I have a lopsided movement. So that is how I have to recognize that awareness inside. Oh, I'm meeting you. You are also the same real self with a different name in the form. You have to remind yourself. If you don't remind yourself, the mind will take over. When the mind will take over, then it will have a variety of experiences. You are of this color, you are of this age, and a long list of duality starts working in the mind. Outside, you still say honey, but inside, huh? Wave water, wave water. So what happens? We created a dispassion by breaking up the part of the name in the form and formless. Water is formless. Water is name. So there is a nameless in you. There is a nameless here also. Formless and the nameless lives. That nameless and formless is nothing but the consciousness. Why I am doing this? To bring an end to the suffering. Satsang plus result. That is what, if we do it, we find a relationship. So, what is satsang? Again, you see external and internal factors of the satsang. You are listening with a half sleep and half awake, it's okay. You keep on listening, that half sleep will dissolve one day. So, our master says satsang has three elements: shravanam, listening, active listening, learning. After that, we have to contemplate and reflect on the same principles, followed by the practice of meditation, which is known as the nidhyas. So, what is happening outside? Outside, you are learning. You are learning the principles. You are absorbing them. You are assimilating them. But then, what changes is coming inside? By just attending the satsang. Even if I don't talk about the detachment, you will have a sense of detachment. Even if I don't talk about the dispassion, you will have a sense of dispassion. That is the beauty of the satsang. Whereby the satsang means that we are only talking of one entity, real self, that is all pervading. That is of the nature of peace and happiness, directly, indirectly, through the reasoning, through different principles. Goal is the one. So that mind undergoes a change. So the internal change appears, that sense of detachment is there, dispassion is there, a natural steadiness of the mind is there, and that helps us to achieve the last point. Eyes are closed. We will follow the same non practice. And you should remember now what are the four statements in this verse. Yadi deham prathak Chiti Vishramyatishtasi. Two line. First line, Yadi Deham Prathakratya. If you separate body, that much is written. But then we have to contemplate and reflect and remain in that state of non practice. First line. Second line of the verse is what? Chiti Vishramyatishtasi. That mind is resting within. First statement, if you separate the body. Where is the servant of the mind? Mind has to translate all its thoughts, desire, pain, pleasure through the body. But if you separate, if, third line, Adunaiva Sukhi Shantah. So it's a conclusion from the first two. If you separate the body and allow the mind to rest within, you are happy and peaceful here and now. Master is saying here and now. And if you continue, awakening takes place. So now we bring down to that in a different parts, steps, understanding. And that is where I take you to being comfortable. Being comfortable. Comfort, experience. where mind, you see, I did talk about it. I did talk about that. But we go in a natural way. Am I doing the practice? No. Am I aware of the neck joint? Yes. So awareness is also the feeling. Yes. Feeling is a sensation. Yes. Sensation is the comfort. Yes. And there is also one more sensation is the steadiness. I am not making an effort. I'm not holding the body. I don't want to keep it forcibly still. I'm just aware. I'll remind you again. We did it almost 6 months ago. Somebody made a very good remark. What is that sensation? Yes, obviously, sensation and comfort, sensation in the body, experience of the comfort in the mind through the body. What is that? I need to remind you. Is it the stillness in the body or it is the stillness of the body? It is the stillness in the body. So when you start recognizing that stillness in the body, not the stillness of the body, what happens? You can be in a state of meditation. It has nothing to do with the stillness of the body. Not in the beginning, but as we progress and go deeper, but what happens into that? What did you say? Stillness in the body. Now, analyze and contemplate the first statement. Stillness in the body, comfort is there, I'm clear. If I separate the body, stillness in the body is separate from the body. Stillness of the body cannot be separate. I have to enforce a discipline. I have to do the practice. Can you recognize it? And we recognize, we know this many a times during the day. While talking, while speaking, you convey the thought but remain detached. My friends, it happens many a times during the day. Looking at the entire body. So again, I'm going back to these three statements. If you separate body, allow the mind to rest, you are happy and peaceful here and now. If I recognize that I am not the body, even if you recognize I am in the body, it's okay in the beginning. If I am in the body, it means I'm separate from the body. The way I'm in the house, I'm separate from the house. But the mind never goes there. Looking at the entire body from the top of the head to the toes and experiencing sensation, comfort, and steadiness. That steadiness in the body means the mind is resting with. We need some symbol, some explanation. Stillness in the body. It is just a pure awareness with reference to the body. Look at it. Look at this statement, reflect on its steady stillness in the body. Say in order to recognize that stillness in the body, sometimes we have thoughts coming up. Variety of the thoughts belongs to the past impression, projecting it into the future, and it blocks. We have understood the four basic problems of the mind that prevents us to realize the real self, and one of them is here. So we shift our awareness. Okay, stillness in the body, it's okay. Let us see, let us become aware of the thoughts. I'm already aware of the thought. That's why I say. That's why we say my mind was distracted. That's why I say that I had a lot of thoughts. I had no thought. Do you see? Do you see that clarity? No, I have a lot of thoughts. I have no thought. Thought distracted me. Thought disturbed me. All pertains to awareness of the thought. So we maintain just, let me be aware of the thought coming and going. Are you clear? So that clarity comes, by approaching the same subject differently, by teachings of the many masters. And one day we serve, one day we recognize you will be, you will not believe in the beginning, but gradually you will realize. I don't say you to believe, but inquire. One day there will be a realization that all these thoughts are coming from outside into your mind. There's nothing to. All thoughts? Yes. How can you say? Did you learn English language in the womb of your mother? So if there is a thought, you learned it from outside. So you sit down with a contemplation and reflection with one pointed principle that all these thoughts are coming from outside. I made only a single statement. Did you learn English language? Means which has a thought in the womb of your mother. No, I learned it after. So it came from outside, yes. I made it my own. Who made it my own? Who made it? I. Where's this I? I am the body mind complex. You need not to practice. You have to recognize this. You can never say that these thoughts are distracting me. Many thoughts are there. Oh, then what? One single thought is there. Then what? Our mind says during practice of meditation, I have lot of thoughts today. I'm disturbed because of the thoughts. Whatever masters are saying, not a single thought comes from inside. All thoughts are coming from outside. Outside means from the world. Outside means from the matter. Outside means from the object, people, event, things, and relationship. Means thought is equal to, do you remember now? Thought is equal to object plus consciousness. Is your mind enjoys that statement? Oh, thought is equal to object plus consciousness, and consciousness is equal to thought minus object. I cannot have a single thought without an object. Object belongs to the world. Conclusion, all the thoughts are coming from outside. I told you a couple of times, great master Arvindo, he was given the first instruction. Second instruction he was given by the master. Once you understand all the thoughts are coming from outside. Before any thought enters into your mind, throw it outside. That was the second instruction. Throw it outside. You recognize object in it. You need not to do anything. Again, I'm saying, throw it outside means I recognize the object in that thought. I have a lot of pain. Pain is the object. What do you mean? Recognize the object in the thought will dissolve by itself. When the thought dissolves by itself, then what happens over second statement? The mind rests within. Because the thoughts are coming from outside, so they have to take my mind outside. No thought knows what is inside me. Do you see that? Oh, mind may say, I have heard this first time. No, not only you hear, but to reflect on this. And I gave you the basic example. Your mind may interpret in a different way. I did not learn to use the thought one way. I did not learn the English language because we all are talking and communicating in that language. And language processes and creates a thought. So that recognition, thoughts are coming from, means the mind is resting with. Mind is resting. If you separate the body, you left it blank. Mind rest within. For you're in peace and happiness here and now. Here and now. It appears if you separate body, it appears as we have to separate, we have to make a lot of effort. No. Mind rests within. I have to make a lot of effort. No. I have to recognize. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. This is also a thought. The thought you hear, it leaves you in that state of peace and calmness. That was the thought. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Bring both the palms on your eyes, open the eyes inside the palm. Know your experiences, bring the hands down. We will share our experiences. Now, how are you, Steve?
Sir, thank you. Today was a very good reminder of the importance of living inside to the outside and not the outside in. It was also the last several weeks that has been this focus on Viveka, and today was a strong reminder of the importance of all the principles and not just the ones that we're focused on during our class. And that realization today really allowed me to settle in when closed eyes in a non-practice to be in a place of just nothingness. So I thank you for it.
Beautiful. It is self-explanatory, and his reflections is wonderful. Let us go to David and Jerry. How are you?
Good, thank you. Yeah, very similar to Stephen, that it was kind of a very harsh, I want to say harsh synopsis of all the different factors. And going into the meditation, I just said to myself, I am not my mind, I am not my body, I am not the objects.
Yeah.
And then that opened up just a beautiful, simple non-meditation.
Beautiful. Non-meditation in meditation. Good. Good. Very good. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good, thank you. The mind, because of consciousness, has free will.
Yeah.
And so I love the idea of free will because we are living in this world. And so when the effort comes when we are ignorant or delusional or complaining, blaming, not understanding, but when we're living in that conscious awareness, then it really is effortless because we always want to understand. We always bring the peace. We always shed light. And if we're not seeing it, we want to see it. So we're always aligned with that higher awareness and purpose.
Yes. Yes. The free will or the intellect means I can do it, I cannot do it. So I have two options. I can do it differently. So let me understand what differently I can do it. So I can use Stephen's phrase that it's a non-meditation. So I can do the things differently. I have been doing the practice, and mind was ignorant of that. It is making an effort. So let us see what happens in effortlessness. You see. So these once that free will is just nothing but the intellect. In the beginning, you understand, and gradually we will understand in a little deeper way. How are you, Brandy?
Thank you. I'm good. I was just thinking about how sometimes the object of the thoughts seems weightier than other times. So, you
Yeah.
know, my perception is that it's harder to dissolve it, when in actuality, it's just that simple. The thought is an object, dissolve, right? Let it go. So I was thinking about something that someone said a long time ago. I think it was Christina, about she asked about anger, how to get rid of her anger. And you said you don't get rid of the anger, you get rid of the desire.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And somehow I was making a connection with that here, but it was
Beautiful.
good. Thank you.
Yes, because of the impurity, I'm not able to separate it. Because of the ignorance, I'm not able to separate it. I'm angry over you, so my mind is overwhelmed with the anger, not realizing what desire caused this anger, that you did not meet my expectation. So then what happens? That is the separation. You have already separated the object from the thought. The moment you separate it, it dissolves. Beautifully said. How are you, Dennis?
Thank you. I'm good. And the talk also triggered some contemplations about the free will.
Yeah.
Is my understanding correct that the word free here is not that the will is not actually free, because even the intellect, it is also conditioned by the past impressions, by the things outside. Like if we
Yeah.
take intellect as something that is conditioned by the teaching even,
Yes.
then the will cannot be ultimately free.
Free. Yes. The mirror is dusted. So now the mirror is not free. That is how we look at the intellect and the mind. So now when you remove the dust, now the mirror is still free. So you are right. Mind conditions because of its identification, attachment, ignorance, that intellect, which is a free will. So that is why we lay a great importance on the impurity of the mind and removing the ignorance. Does that make a sense?
But you're talking about the mind.
The
I was
mind and intellect are two entities. Mind is pre-programmed like the animal mind, programmed by the nature. So our mind is also programmed by the nature, and it follows the impulse and instinct and habit, etc. Intellect is another dimension of the same mind, which is a free will.
but
Mind does not say, I can think, I cannot think, I can I can think differently. Let me find out what is right and the best. If it is possible by the mind, that all the animals will choose the best. Another beautiful example. Tiger jumps onto the tree to see the prey in a forest, and that tree is full of fruits. No doubt, animals are intelligent, but the absence of the free will. That free will, absence of the free will, the tiger cannot make a choice, cannot think, oh, let me have a fruit. Why am I searching for a prey?
but when we make a choice to have a fruit, is that choice also conditioned?
Yes, that is what we are learning. We have to understand whether this free will is also conditioned because of the identification with the body, mind, intellect, and host of other things. That is why satsang is necessary. Every stage we get rid of that conditioning. I will talk about this, that intellect is also heavily conditioned by something. I'm not using the word something. What is that? It will come into this teaching by this master. And once that intellect is free, what happens? The way the mind has gone, the intellect also goes away. And when the intellect goes away, the ego goes away. And when what is left is the pure consciousness. You're right. You're right. How are you, Vaibhav?
Thank you, sir. Sir, I'm calm. It was peaceful. The understanding is like the whole the principles are working like it works from inside, that it removes the delusion that I'm having, and it also helps me to live outside so I will not create more delusion while living outside.
Yes.
So
Yes.
when this is happening, then I'll move. When all these delusions drop down, then I move towards something which is common in all of us and which is permanent.
Yes.
From where, then from where when I'll see that my mind is very small in front of that, and it will drops my delusion. So,
Yes. You see that, that is another way to contemplate and reflect. We are sharing the experience. It is always good to analyze from the different perspective so that our intellect sharpens. It can have the sense of the free will. Oh, this approach is also good. So when the mind becomes so small, when it becomes so small, when you drop the attachment. Otherwise, with the attachment, it becomes like a fatty liver. So then it causes the problem. Beautiful. How are you, Terry? Today is a good morning or bad morning?
Oh, it wasn't the morning that was. It was
Good.
just I did
Yep.
more Mangalachara. Here's my question. If two questions.
Yep.
Can we have thought without language?
No.
Oh. And then also, if I am in the body and the body is in the house, if I do not see the house, I know it's there, but let's say I don't see it, then it's not there.
It's not there. But how can you see body is not there as long as you are conscious of yourself?
Mm-hmm. You're aware of it even if you close your eyes.
So you are aware of the body, but you are not attached. One option. You are aware of the body and you are attached. Third option, you are aware of the body and your mind, because of the ignorance, says, I am the body.
If the consciousness is all pervading, each one of us is the wave or whatever you choose to call it, then all of the inanimate things are also. Is it because our mind only creates these things? How can it pervade the inanimate? because it's
Is wave water or not?
oh yes,
Can wave exist without water?
no,
Consciousness is all pervading. The water is everywhere in all the waves. Same way, the consciousness is present in all the people sitting here.
but
And not,
but it's not present in the house, in the
oh,
you see what I mean?
yes, you
So the
mean to say that consciousness is present here and it is not present there. Then why we say it is all pervading?
right. So in other words, it must not be pervading in physical space because
Ah,
physical space
you mean to say
includes
water is not present in the wave?
no, I mean to say like and then the things that are not like you always say my phone
Okay.
here.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like so,
Yes, yes, yes.
so they
Yes.
exist in physical space.
In the beginning of a journey, we separate by discernment what is matter and consciousness. We separate wave from the water. Yes, that results into a lot of confusion, what she is pointing out. So in the beginning, first why we separate? We separate wave from the water straight up. And after separation, our mind gets purified. It lives into a higher state of discernment. And then we will go back again to the wave. In our case, we go back to the physical body, the causal body, and the subtle body. And we realize, Dennis has beautifully put perhaps in the 2 sessions before, as long as once I recognize the consciousness, it is the consciousness that recognizes the object through the mind. When we don't recognize that separation, only the consciousness exists. That makes the consciousness all pervading. Who recognizes that I am the body? I am separate from the body, mind or the intellect. So when we understand the mind and intellect and functioning of the mind and intellect clearly, we recognize it is all the consciousness alone. Is the reality. We are going there step by step. Very good. That is all for today. Thank you. We will meet again on Monday.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.